Good morning, people of the grid. Miker here. I'm heading into downtown Calgary for some meetings, but I thought I'd share with you a little story. A little story about music and videos. Let's start with the music part because that has already made its transition, and I think the same thing is going to happen in video. So let's go back to the beginning. Remember way back when we were busy making mixtapes, we would record music off the radio, we would put it on our tapes, and then if we were lucky enough to have a ghetto blaster that did tape-to-tape recording, we could move those songs over to another tape and we could create a mixtape of our favorite music. That transitioned from tape over to digital media, and that's when things really started to go crazy, because as soon as we took our content, our analog music content, flipped it over to digital with good quality, not only were we able to make our own mixtapes, we were able to make playlists, our own playlists, and we could share those playlists with others instantly. It took very little effort, and it was very easy to do. That led to a ton of piracy, people stealing music. And so what the industry did in a response was one of my favorite moves, which is to prevent theft. You make it actually easier and cheaper to buy it legally and legitimately than it is to steal it. So they basically put the piracy business out of business by making music super cheap to buy. We saw the advent of the iTunes store and various other music sales venues where you could buy only the song you want. You weren't forced to buy the whole album, and then you could add that to a playlist of your own, and it was all legal, and you could have it on your devices and listen to it wherever you go. In come things like MP3 players, in comes the iPod, which allows us even more flexibility and more capability, and the rest is history. From that point on, music is now primarily sold online. We don't have to make cassettes or records or CDs, even though we still do, because there's still that small subset of the population that wants it in that format, but it's more expensive that way. It's actually cheaper to buy it online. And what's happened most recently with things like Apple Music and others, where you can actually go in and buy a subscription and have just all of the music, unlimited. As soon as it comes out, it's available to you. All the history is available to you for a low price of whatever it is, $8 a month or $10 a month. You get everything. That's what we do in our house. So the cool thing for me is I've got myself and I've got Tammy and 4 kids. Our Apple Music sharing allows everybody to have all of their music anytime they want. That's pretty flexible. That's pretty cool. Now let's leap over to the video world, to the movies world. Remember back in the day when we were getting movies from this place called Blockbuster? We would actually go to a bricks and mortar, a building that had all the latest releases on the wall, and you typically wouldn't get the latest release, so you'd end up getting something else that you didn't want, but you were happy because you would rent that and you would take it home, and then you'd have it a little too long and you'd bring it back and they'd charge you late fees. It was awesome because we could watch movies in our home, and people were starting to build out home theaters and little areas in their home where they could watch movies with family and friends. It's been great. It's been really good. That industry is seeing a similar transformation. And I don't know if you guys remember, but there was this little tiny company that came out with a new idea back when Blockbuster was doing really well. And they said, instead of coming into a building to rent your VHSs or your DVDs or your Blu-rays, why not just order them online? See, by then FedEx and UPS and all of these services were able to ship stuff the next day. And so what Netflix did was said, you could rent any movie you want, we'll mail it to you, you watch it, you ship it back, no big deal. And that model worked really well for a lot of people because they didn't have to leave their house. And so it's interesting that model is what grew into the thing that killed Blockbuster, because as soon as online infrastructure was able and capable enough, now all of our movies were being delivered through the cloud. And the cool thing for Netflix is they saved a ton of money on shipping and handling. All they had to do was charge our credit cards and we could watch a movie, and there were no late fees because you would watch it and it would just go away. It was perfect. So it was cloud serviced videos, just like we have cloud serviced music nowadays. Now, the interesting thing that's happening is there's so much more content. Netflix is bringing on new content. Hulu's bringing on new, all of these sites are bringing on new content, and there's a new player in town later this year. So later this year, I think it's November the 12th or November the 5th, Disney will be releasing something called Disney Plus. See, Netflix has a lot of Disney shows and movies, and they have to pay Disney money for that. Works for Disney, works for Netflix. The problem with Netflix is, as soon as people the demand drops, what they do is they take it offline. They stop paying the licensing for that movie or for that show. That's why you'll see like all of your favorite Star Treks will be up there, and then they're gone. Because Netflix has said, yeah, you know what, there's not that much interest for this, so we're just going to let it go for now. Maybe we'll bring it back later. But for somebody like Disney, who owns their own content, if they create a channel, a Disney Plus, like Netflix, put all of their own stuff in it, it could be available forever. That's what they're going to do. I don't know about the availability part, but they are going to make it available. So for a low price of whatever, $8, $10 per month, you're going to be able to watch everything Disney anytime. And that is going to be a game changer. I think all of the movie studios will follow suit, and either they'll hop on board a generic site, like Apple, where you can rent movies and watch them now. That's kind of the other big one, I guess. Google Play is another one. Disney will have their own stuff on Disney. I think they got a thing going there. But the bigger thing that's happening is that this whole idea of buying videos, buying movies, I think that's going to drop off significantly, just like it did with music, because we'll have access to our videos and movies anytime. We'll just be able to do it through the subscription. So, interesting. Very, very interesting. I think we'll be signing up for the Disney one. Looking forward to it. So there you go. That's my tech update for today. Catch up with you guys tomorrow. Miker, out.